All right, so we're gonna go over some side control escapes. The idea can be simple, but there's something that never really gets mentioned, which is the timing aspect. So just to give you some advice from the beginning, timing is involved, okay? It's not just bridging and hip escaping as fast and hard as you can. There's also an element of timing to recovery, okay? So just a mindset thing, try to find the timing to do it. This is something that you cannot be taught, only you will be feeling the position, so you will be able to feel when is the right moment to push and recover. So that's the first thing, timing, knowing when to push and try and recover and when not to push and waste your energy. And another thing is to be as calm as possible. Now, you're in a terrible position, you already messed up. So if they've mounted you or they took your back or they're in side control, you've already messed up. Your jiu-jitsu has failed to a degree and you've missed multiple opportunities to not get to that position. But this will come with time and experience, right? We've all been passed, we've all had our back taken, we've all been mounted. Nobody's immune to it, but the aim here is to not get into these positions in the first place. They're not good for us. So we need to avoid them and stop them as much as possible, right? But that will come with time, learning how to protect your guard better and defend. But let's say we messed up, we got into a bad position where our partner has managed to get to side control. So a few things. Holding the leg is not going to help. Hugging your partner is a big no-no, right? Yes, we may be friends, but now is not the time to be hugging your friend or your opponent, right? We don't want to hug them in close. Hugging them in closely does not prevent them from going to mount, for example. If you hug your partner, it doesn't stop them from going to mount. So he's already closed the space, right? He's got chest to chest or he's past the guard. He's got to a good position. So we don't want to help them by hugging them. We want to create space so that we can recover our legs back. We want to try to get back to a guard position. Now, the arm on the outside, we need to be aware of this, right? We don't want to have our arm on the outside. This can help our opponent to walk the arm up and attack the arm. So instead, what we want to do is try to create a frame on the shoulder, right? So we want to have our arm on the inside. But something we need to avoid is doing a big bridge and allowing our elbow to go past the jawline. See, if we start turning in, it's either going to take the back or he's going to be in a position where he can go for head and arm choke. So we don't want to allow our elbow to go past the jawline. And now look, now we can get choked, right? So if you come back. So instead, what we're going to do is try to create a structure. So let's say our partner has head and arm control. There's a few ways we can try to recover. One way I like to recover is to bring the elbow in and use the forearm against the hip and the other hand onto the shoulder. So what we're essentially doing here is creating a frame, creating a structure, which is blocking our partner. So when we think of frames, it's essentially blocking your partner and then we move. So the block is to prevent a progression for a minute and we move. So look, we're blocking with our frame and now we're going to hip escape. So we're going to bridge and hip escape. So we're framing to create a block, we bridge, hip escape, and then come closer. And then look, we're gonna bring the knee inside. So we're gonna try to get this kind of elbow to knee structure, right? So if you go to your right side, this way. So ideal situation, we're gonna get the elbow inside the hip using the forearm, okay? We're not using our hand. We're not framing with our hand against the hip because this can actually get you wrist locked. So it's not hand to hip, it's forearm. As you can see, look, my hand is still out. We're not sacrificing the palm of the hand to the hip. We're using a frame. So we're gonna frame on the shoulder, frame on the hip. From here, we're going to bridge, heels close to our hip. We're gonna bridge in and hip escape. See how this is now gonna allow us to bring our knee inside. We're gonna bring the other knee inside. Now we have a structure, right? Once we have the structure, look, we can bring the other hand to the inside of the bicep, use this to push, create more space, and now we can reconnect to a guard position. So this is one variation of it, bringing the elbow inside. And if you can get the hand inside, or you can connect and create this kind of diamond shape on the arm here, this can also be used. It's essentially the same idea, bridging in, pushing, and the hip escaping out and bringing the legs back inside, creating this elbow to knee structure. So now for this option, it's going to be a similar idea, but we're going to incorporate the lapel. So the arm that's on the inside, we're going to open up the lapel and we're going to feed it to our hand that's around the head. Now, just to be very clear, I would always try to get the hand to the inside of the face, and I would always go for the super simple basic structure. This would always be my priority. But let's say, for example, your arm is on the outside and you are unable to get the hand back in. Your partner's doing a good job of blocking your arm. This is what I would try to do to create space to recover. So we're going to feed the lapel from the same side. Okay, so my right arm is in. We're going to feed the lapel to the hand. Okay, so thumb will be facing down. So we're going to feed the lapel, the entire lapel, including the foam part. We're going to feed, and then from here, we're going to kind of do what we were doing in the first one, which is to bring the elbow to the inside of the hip. Now look, my left leg, which is the leg on the outside, is going to go in to the lapel. So stay in. We're going to feed the sole of the foot to lapel. Now we have the ability to use our leg to create space and leverage, right? So in regards to how much lapel we should grip, most gis are going to have this sort of V shape, right? So we want to grip right where the V is, okay? Thumb facing down. So we're going to use one hand to feed to the other hand, and we're going to grip right around where the V shape is. We're going to bring the elbow to the inside of the hip, and now look, we're essentially just going to rock. Place the foot to the inside of the lapel. So stay holding. Now look, with our frame, we're going to start to push and lift. This should typically create enough space to bring the knee on the inside of the hip. Once the knee is on the inside, we can do the same thing of bringing the hand to the inside of the bicep. And look, we can use this now to start to push and extend. Okay? Now, sometimes from here, you can even go for a triangle. This is also possible because he had the underhook, which when you recover, his arm is still kind of next to your hip. Sometimes you can catch the other hand, feed the leg through, and now start switching for a triangle. Okay, but this is a bonus. Recovery is the priority. If you can get the triangle after, this is a bonus. So again, our arm is on the outside. We're going to feed the lapel and hold. Elbow goes in to create the frame. We're going to bring the foot to the inside of the lapel. Now we're going to use this to push, which allows us, if you rotate this way, see the foot allows us to create space and bring the knee in. Now we can start to get our hand to the inside of the bicep, and look, we're going to extend our hip. See, so extend away. And again, look, now there is an opportunity here to control the wrist, bring the leg through, and start switching and attacking a triangle.
Try it, bro. Just take time, we'll work it out. Yeah?
So as mentioned in the beginning, creating structures, creating frames, this is always going to be useful and beneficial to you. And the timing, right? Often when your partner is trying to move or progress is a great opportunity to then try to recover. If they're squeezing tightly and you're pinned, sometimes you just have to breathe. You've already messed up, accept that you've lost the positioning. Okay, I'm not telling you to not fight for your guard. Please do not confuse what I'm saying. Let's just say you've messed up, and like if you go on your back a second. If there's space to recover straight away, and you can bring your knee inside and recover, always do that. But I'm talking about a situation where the person on top has secured, solidified the position, cemented it, holds 1, 2, 3. They've got their positioning. It's too late now, right? Now we need to recover from side control. So if they're holding and squeezing as tightly as possible on top, this might not be the right time to be trying to recover. But for example, I need to progress. It's a progression sport. I need to try to get to a better position, advance my position. So that can be knee on belly, that can be north-south, that can be mount. So, for example, if my weight is on top, I'm super secure here, I'm heavy, it'll be harder for him to recover. But in order to progress, I have to move. I have to move my body. And by moving my body, I remove the weight. It's impossible to stay cemented to your partner and progress to knee on belly. It's not possible. There are options where maybe you can try and go to mount, a bit more secure, but in order to go for knee on belly, for example, let's say